Greetings, everyone. My name is Dejay Duckett, and I'm the Director of Curatorial Services here at the African American Museum in Philadelphia. I'm here today with Jesse Krimes. He is the guest curator for this exhibition, Rendering Justice. The exhibition is an important, timely reminder of the issues surrounding mass incarceration in the United States of America. I'm so pleased to have Jesse here with us, and you with us also, as we embark on this important conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thank you for having me. It's amazing to partner with you, and I'm so happy that you said yes. But yeah, I think in terms of the genesis of this project, I mean, in many ways it ties directly to my background and my own experience of being incarcerated. And so, since I've come home in 2014, I've done a number of exhibitions. I've been invited to do some museum shows, and most of the time, I was the only formerly incarcerated artist included in an exhibition about mass incarceration. As a white man, I have been given access and opportunities to show, and recognizing the amount of people who are actually missing from these conversations was what really started kind of marinating in my mind about how do I create space and create opportunities to showcase all of the brilliance that is not currently being showcased. What this exhibition is about, and what a lot of these artists in this exhibition are working through in various different ways, right? How they approach it is different. But the core kind of theme that is apparent is the ways that each artist has kind of struggled with this dehumanizing force, with this system that is designed to destroy them as a positive person, as someone who is like hopeful and valuable. And so much of the work is pushing back against that. And it's saying, no, we don't buy into this idea that you're trying to make us think that we're something other or different, or don't have value. We are loved, right? We are family members. We are a part of this community. It's just such a powerful way of resistance by showcasing your existence.
Simple as that. Jesse, can you take us on a tour through this exhibition as we look at each of these artists and their work?
As visitors come to the museum, they will first encounter a monumental mural created by Russell Craig of his mentor and fellow artist in the exhibition, James Yaya Hough, directly across from the Federal Detention Center here at the African American Museum. And as visitors come to the front of the building to enter the exhibition space, they will also come across 4 large works by Michael O.G. Law-Tabone, who created these works in the community, and they will be displayed in the windows so viewers can see them from the outside. One of the most important things about the Reimagining Reentry Fellowship with the Mural Arts of Philadelphia was having the capacity to be the curator for that, and then working with each artist to really make their visions and partnerships and whatever that is into their fullest, best projects that they could envision. Michael O.G. Law-Tabone, who is a Philadelphia fixture, so much of his work is just collaborative and in the community. I mean, he's in the community 24/7. He is really about the work. Like, he's not the kind of artist who like kind of disappears into the studio and has to like cook up something to create. His creations are like out in the street. He's making these massive portraits on banners and dragging them through the streets and getting the community to sign them. They're like mobile monuments in a sense to heroes and advocates and people across the city and across the country. You know, he does these very public performances with them that just gets people to remember, gets people to engage, gets conversations flowing.
I wanted to ask you about James Yaya, his story and his work and the way he uses materials. He has a long history with you and with Russell and doing this work.
Viewers come into the gallery space itself, they will then encounter James Yaya Hough's works that he created while he was incarcerated. And so his works just powerfully capture how damaging incarceration is for everyone. It's a system that hurts everyone. And I've just never seen an artist who, I don't think I ever will see another artist like that. That's part of why he is absolutely brilliant, is like just to encapsulate an entire system into this visual language that he has developed is incredibly powerful. Originally, I had been talking to Yaya about the works that he was creating while he was incarcerated. I had reached out to him just to kind of check in to see where he's at, what he's thinking about, and he's like, "Oh, I've made these 45 new works." And I was like, "I just talked to you a couple days ago." He's like, "Yeah, I just made them in a couple of days." And I was like, "Okay, well, tell me what they are. Like, what is it about?" And the way that he was describing them to me was, we're so inundated with videos and imagery of police killings or white supremacist killings of Black people, and that it's become such a recurring visual kind of bombardment in the media that people will see one incident and then move on to the next incident and move on to, and it's so, he talked about it as being so disorienting. Taking this video and slowing it down into stills to really get the viewer to kind of sit with some of these horrific events that are happening, rather than just kind of consuming and moving. The next room, which has a video projection by Mary Enoch Elizabeth Baxter, and excerpts from creative writing exercises that she created with the women who are incarcerated at Riverside Correctional Facility. Her view is such an important contribution to this exhibition because in many ways, when most people think of mass incarceration, they think of men, which is true. It's predominantly men who are incarcerated. But at the same time, women are the fastest growing population in prison and jails. Mary's work is just this very visceral, kind of brutal, it's also beautiful, but it's like this brutal reminder of the suffering that we inflict upon people, and particularly upon women. It's that devaluing, it's that, I don't even know how to say it. It's just beyond comprehension of what we do to people, and her work is such a powerful reminder and makes visible things that people often like to ignore. And just the contributions that she has made since coming home, to me, is one of the most powerful attacks on what our criminal justice system does to people. It shows people what we are wasting when we decide to use punishment as the first and only option in things that don't require punishment. Next to Mary's work is Jared Owens, who created a number of representational / abstract paintings working through ideas of the physical environment of incarceration, which line the wall next to Mary's work. Jared is someone that I know very well. Again, I was incarcerated with him. We were together for the last 3 years of my sentence. And while we were in there making work together, he was doing these just amazing experiments. He was incorporating dirt from the prison yard and mixing it with paint. And so they became these kind of otherworldly things that were incorporating ideas of like non-sight, like taking elements from the prison and using it to then create works that could have an existence somewhere else. The works that are on display here are all revolving around prison conditions. And so in the same way that he was experimenting with like dirt and gravel from the prison yard, he actually brought some of that home and used it to recreate these abstract, they're semi-representational, but they're also very kind of abstract works that are portraying some of the atrocities that happened in Parchment Prison. And so a lot of his work is revolving around how the body overcomes these physical environments of incarceration. As viewers then transition up the ramp into Gallery 4, they are confronted with these very intimate depictions and photographs from Dr. Deb Willis. And back behind those photographs are the collaboration between Dr. Deb Willis and Michelle C. Jones that they created called Points of Triangulation, where the viewer is invited to experience the works. Michelle C. Jones wanted to partner with Dr. Deb Willis, who she was taking a photography course with and was thinking about race and photography, and wrote up this beautiful dissertation on the subject, which I feel like I shouldn't even talk about it because she's far more equipped to do that than I am. She made a writing while she was in Dr. Willis's class about the ways that photography have been weaponized, particularly against the Black community. The idea behind the work is that these are life-size portraits, and all of the participants that are featured in the portraits are local leaders in the community who have been incarcerated at one point in time. Michelle chose to work with these people in the community here in Philadelphia and to take their photographs in carceral clothing, but then also have them get their photographs taken in the clothing of their choice and how they want to be depicted in the world. And in addition to the life-size photographs, there are also interviews that she conducted with each participant, talking about their experience of incarceration, but also their experience of coming home and the work that they do in the communities. So it's a beautiful way to connect the viewer, to challenge the viewer, but also connect the viewer into these other communities and worlds that are happening right around them. The other part is, as a part of that collaboration as well, Dr. Deb Willis has a selection of individual photographs which are taken from the photo shoot for the life-size figures, which are in the V-flaps, but they are very kind of intimate shots. They're close crop shots of people's hands, or just a tattoo, or subtle markings. And they're just so lovely and intimate in a way that invites you into a person that is incredibly powerful, and I love that she's included them in this exhibition. To the left of Points of Triangulation is a series of works created by artist Russell Craig. Russell is one of those artists who, he just has this very intuitive, innate ability to have something in his mind, to see something, to have something in his mind, and put it out into the world in a way that has such, it's beautiful, but at the same time it's very raw and visceral, and his ability to capture emotion and to create empathy and rage, his ability to create work and use materials like leather to represent the Black body, and to use this white surface that has been built up over a number of years to represent white supremacy, and to use these like layers and materials and then paint portraits over top of them where the figures are emerging but breaking and simultaneously kind of like chimeras of like existence. It's just, I mean, it's some of the most powerful works I've ever seen. The other part that is incredibly exciting is to have the large mural that he's doing of his mentor, James Yaya Hough. Bookending Russell Craig is a large installation from Reginald, Dwayne and Titus Kaphar called the Redaction Series, and the works are laid out in a massive gridded pattern where they worked with men who are currently incarcerated at SCI Phoenix and young men and women who are part of the Restorative Justice Guild program at the Mural Arts of Philadelphia. Betts has used redactions in his poetry, and like the way that Titus is using visual redaction and Betts is using textual kind of redaction is really interesting, and particularly when you're thinking about people who are then incarcerated, right, in these systems that are designed to basically redact human beings, right? They're designed to take you out of the community and put you into this system where you can no longer be seen. And the thing that's really powerful about this is that they're working with, you know, people who have been incarcerated to do these redactions. Betts was like, yeah, I think we're gonna redact the Declaration of Independence. It's just thinking about that document and what it means for so many people, or what it doesn't mean for so many people. And the way that both Betts and Titus use redaction in this way and in community with each other and with others, not as a form to make something invisible, but as a way to elevate the essence of this other thing that has always been there, but has often been overlooked or intentionally hidden or ignored. That's one of the most powerful aspects of this work, is thinking about what it means to be visible and what liberty has meant to, you know, various communities, and what this document has meant to, you know, it lives in our idea as this kind of like document that is for all the people, but we know that that is not true. And so, you know, just the connection of that document to the history of Philadelphia, to the history of the people here that they're working with is, again, it's like, it's showcasing people's full humanity, this desire to be seen, this desire to be free. Who better to embody the desire for freedom than those who have lost it? Here in Gallery 4, the way that Kaphar and Betts' works kind of interact and speak with Dr. Deb Willis's works and Michelle C. Jones and Russell Craig's works, it's this really powerful kind of emotional mixture of expressions of freedom. I don't know how better to encapsulate it, but I think that's what the show is ultimately about.
Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today and taking us through this important exhibition. Just all of your work in bringing these artists together has meant so much, and this work will be very important to our communities in Philadelphia and beyond. So thank you very much. And thank you for joining us today here at the museum. We hope that we will get to see you soon, but if not in person, online you can see all of our amazing programs and exhibitions, and then we hope to see you soon at the museum to experience this exhibition firsthand.